Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Good or Garbage, the #1 place where you can find out what weapons, blueprints, attachments, mods, and all that stuff are being sold at the vendors in the division on a weekly basis. Now, I do want to first say thank you all very much for showing so much love and support to the channel. We actually did pretty well for Good or Garbage last week compared to the week before. We got almost 6,000 views and we got over 300 likes. So I really do appreciate that, guys. You are showing me how much you care about this series, and I really do appreciate it. So if we can keep getting those likes and keep getting those views, and if you guys don't mind sharing some of these videos with some of the people you play Division with, that would help me out immensely. Now, the bad news is that this week's Good or Garbage, there's a lot of garbage and not that much good. The top picks are kind of only 2. So yeah, sorry about that, but I'm not in charge of these vendors, so why don't we just get into this. This is video number 3 today. Let's go. Starting at the special blueprints vendor, as I said last week, I do not have access to everything that is at the special blueprint vendor because once you purchase it with one character, it is gone for all of them. So the only thing that I can see is the electronic glove blueprint, which I have not purchased. But if you guys do see anything or any blueprints, please leave them in the comments so that other people can see them and we can keep it moving. At the special equipment vendor, we have the PICK for sale. It comes with Dominant, Vicious, and PICK. We have the Cassidy with Responsive, Capable, and Boomstick. Not too bad. We have the Liberator. Unfortunately, this base damage is not that great. Comes with Unforgiving, Swift, and Intense. We have the Centurion that comes with Meticulous. We have the Historian with a very low headshot damage rating, Swift, Commanding, and History Repeats. Honestly, I don't really recommend any of these weapons. The only thing maybe worth looking at would be the LVOA-C that is being sold. The base damage is not too bad comparing it with, I believe this is one of my max base damage or very close to max. You're about 500 to 600 or maybe even 700 points off from the max, so kind of remember that. It's not horrible, but it's not the greatest. It does come with Predatory, Deadly, and Fierce. This would be for a crit damage build. If you're running AR and going for crit damage, maybe not headshot damage, this could work out for you, and there are some attachments later on that we'll talk about that could work out pretty well with this weapon. So moving on, there's the M870 shotgun that is being sold. Not really a fan of, and like I said, the rest of these weapons I'm not really a huge fan of. There's always something wrong with them. Now getting on to the stuff that is worth talking about, the first thing that we want to do is the masks are not that great, and really and truly the best thing that I can see in terms of chest pieces is this Sentry piece. Now the armor is not that great on it, but it does come with some really nice health. It comes with 9% skill haste, and it comes with a decent amount of ammo. So if you are looking for something to run Sentry with until the classified gear sets come out, this could work out for you. But do remember that yeah, the armor on it is not that great. You do want to be careful about that. The Reclaimer vest, while that does have good armor, the health on it is not as good as the Sentries. But if you look at the difference, armor makes a huge difference. And then the other thing is the Reclaimer is running stamina, so this is going to be a bit higher, but I think maybe this amount of health is probably even better than this amount of armor, but you'd have to re-roll that stuff and test it out. The other thing is this also comes with all resist, which I'm not a huge fan of, and the ammo capacity is pretty low. Now moving on through to the rest of this stuff, the armor on a lot of this is pretty bad. The defense doesn't have bad armor, but the skill power is not as good as it could be, to be recommended. And the knee pads, nothing really jumps out at me for the knee pads. I'm scrolling through this nice and slow so you guys can see what is being sold. Really wish these Banshee knee pads had more armor on them as well. The health on it is decent. The enemy armor damage is decent. So this could be good for farming runs while you're out in the DZ. But again, the armor is not that great. So if you do get jumped by some rogues, prepare to get melted. The holsters, not anything worth talking about. Now the tactical gloves that are being sold, again, the same problem. The armor is not that great, but these do come with Savage, and the Marksman damage on them alone are probably the highest I have ever seen being sold at 4,625. Comes with 9% skill haste, and it also comes with 5% health on kill. So these aren't bad if you are running Marksman, maybe to go with that Sentry's chest piece earlier. You will have to do something about the electronics. They're not that great, but again, that Marksman damage is probably one of the highest I've seen being sold ever. So that's nothing to scoff at. The electronics mod, really good electronics roll, but all resist, I would probably pass. Sticky bomb damage 3.5 if you're trying to make a sticky, not too bad. If you are running a sniper, this extended mag could be okay for you. Comes with crit hit damage and crit hit chance at 4 and 3% respectively. The magazine size is not going to be all that much of an issue because I think once you get past 110, it's kind of negligible. You may get one bullet, maybe not. The large suppressor, now this is going back to the LVOA-C. This has 19% crit hit damage, a bit of stability, a bit of optimal range, and this also comes with reduced threat. I know that some people are running the muzzles for headshot damage on their assault rifles, but if you are running a crit build, this could work out excellently for you because this will give you a lot of crit damage and it will give you reduced threat instead of something like the loud vent break, which will give you increased threat. Now the loud vent break works on smaller weapons, this does not. So if you are running some kind of SMG, this will not work for you. It only works on larger weapons or assault rifles, so really keep that in mind. Now the rest of this stuff is pretty much garbage, so let's go upstairs and see what else they got. At the advanced weaponry vendor, getting on most of these weapons no one is really talking about or interested in, so I'm really not going to spend too much time on these. The M700, while people do like this, the headshot damage and base damage are not anything to really write home about, and the talents could be a bit better. You could roll brutal instead of intense, but still the headshot damage at 150 I wouldn't really recommend. Now the rest of the stuff that is being sold, there is a really nice extended magazine, maybe for PvP, 120 magazine size, 4% crit damage and rate of fire. This could work out on that crit damage build if you're running that, but you may want crit chance if you are going to have a crit build for ARs. That crit chance will come in handy. It is not an SMG. And then the Compensator. Now I know a lot of people are not fans of 13.5 stability, but this does come with headshot damage and it does come with crit damage. So this is not bad, especially if you find that your weapon is jumping around quite a bit. Weapon balancing will be coming in 1.8. We will have to see how they deal with things. They may add more recoil, they may take more recoil out, but in the meantime, if you want to test this out to see if that 13.5% stability helps you out, this could work out really well and maybe turn your gun into a laser, make you a lot more accurate and kill your targets even faster. It's better to hit your bullets than not hit them. Better to hit your targets than to not hit them and waste your bullets. So yeah, give it a try and see how it goes, maybe in the light zone, and then if it works out for you even better, maybe try it in the dark zone and see if it has a better performance for you. Over in Dante's Run, we have a really nice refreshed mask. This thing has 992 armor, which is not too bad. The max that you can get is 1001, so not too far off of the max. Does come with 1232 electronics. It comes with 7% enemy armor damage, and it also comes with 9% damage to elites. This could be awesome for PvE content, and also it could be pretty decent for PvP as well, or especially for farming runs when you're in the DZ. The enemy armor damage and the damage to elites really does lend itself to PvE content, but the thing is, refreshed really comes in handy for PvP fights. So having that extra armor really close to max armor and having refreshed is really good, and then enemy armor damage and damage to elites for PvE stuff, not too bad. This works, I think, for both sets of players, so if you are interested in something like this, you should definitely go and pick it up, and I think I'm going to buy one myself. Alright, over in the crypt, I figured I would throw this out there. There is a Navy MP5 with decent base damage, not the best. It still could have a little bit of improvement. Crit hit chance at 19.5. The talents on it are Fierce, Skilled, and Adept. Adept is in the 3rd slot, so you can probably do some pretty interesting things with this for PvE. I definitely would not recommend this for PvP. This is probably not going to be a PvP weapon, but with Skilled, working on your signature resource increased by 5% with headshots, that could help you out. I don't know about having Adept and Fierce together. I would probably get rid of Fierce. Adept requires a lot more, so I would probably say get rid of Fierce and then get something like Deadly in that slot. And yeah, unfortunately you'll be kind of stuck with Skilled, or you could just go all the way in with crit hit chance and get rid of Skilled and go for Deadly. It's up to you. You guys let me know. If you do decide to pick this up, let me know what you decide to roll on it. And just as a heads up, with my character, this is 22k base damage, and I believe my god roll MP5, Navy MP5 goes up to 22.4. I've got responsive, brutal, and deadly on it, so you guys may want to, you know, it's not that bad, about 400 off, but you know, if you are in dire need for one of these and you want to go pure crit chance and crit damage, then you can pick this one up from the vendor. But yeah, that's pretty much what you can do with that. Up in East 64th Street, just as a shout out, there is a Seeker Mine damage mod with 4%, which I believe is the highest it can get. If you're looking for that, you can go ahead and pick it up. Okay, over in Park Avenue, figured I would throw this out as well. There's an MG5 being sold with 12% damage to targets out of cover. Wish that was more like 14, but it's not. The base damage is around the 80 percentile, a little bit, maybe almost 81, 82. I think around 82 percentile of the maximum base damage. The talents on it are not that bad. You've got Deadly, Self Preserved, and Adept. So Deadly and Adept working together could be pretty good, and then in that 2nd slot you can put in pretty much whatever you want. So this is not a bad roll to have if you want to pick something up. Like I said, again, it's in the 80ish percentile. So it could be a little bit better, but still it's not that bad. So if you do need one of these very nice LMGs, and they're extremely stable, if you've not tried one before, you definitely should go ahead and try one of these out and go and see if you like them. In West 53rd Street, we've got another God Roll mod. This one is an electronics mod with health. So if you do need some electronics and some health to stay alive, if you're making those electronics builds, this could work out really well for you. 267 electronics and then 3,109 health. If you do need this, go and pick it up. In East 46th Street, there is a tactical sausage being sold. Good Stagger, 351%. Base damage is in the 70-ish percentile. For my character, it's 116. For yours, it'll be different depending on your firearms, but it's around the 70 some odd percentile. The talents on it are pretty good. You got Deadly, you've got Swift, and you've got Competent. So Swift you can probably take out and get something a bit better. But yeah, Deadly and Competent together, you probably want to get something to get you a little more, probably a little more oomph. Let me know if you guys pick this up and what do you put in that 2nd slot. I'd love to know, and I'd love for you guys to share. So let's see what's up. In Dark Zone 6, there's not a lot going on. The only thing I can even consider based off of the armor standards that I'm trying to uphold on the channel, the Reclaimer chest with 1962 armor. The health roll is pretty much garbage. You're gonna need to do something about that. The health that comes with it is 14,463, which is actually not that great. The max that you can get for health on a chest piece is 16,674. So this is quite a bit off. The skill haste on it is at 7. I believe skill haste gets up to like 9 or something like that. I'd have to double check that, but yeah, I believe it is 9, and then the ammo capacity is at 49. So it's not really a great roll, but I know that somebody out there is looking for a reclaimer chest with some decent armor on it, and yeah, there you go. Now if you're that same person looking for the reclaimer chest, and maybe you want some reclaimer gloves, and by the slim chance that you like to snipe, then here you go. We've got the 993 armor on some gloves. Remember, the max armor you can get is 1001, so that's not bad at all. Then you have the marksman damage at 4460. The max you can get for a marksman rifle on some gloves is, I believe, 4681. You will you want to keep that if you are running marksman. If you're not, you probably won't even want to pick these up because the firearms is very low. The firearms is at 1193. Now it does come with 5% health on kill and enemy armor damage, which should help you out if you are a marksman. So that's not too bad, but yeah, definitely these are only for marksmen, and I couldn't see anyone else needing these at all. Alright, over in DZ8, for most of you PvPers, if you are running a yellow build and you don't have better knee pads than these, and I know some people think it's stupid to recommend knee pads, but let me break it down. These knee pads have 1643 armor. The most armor you can get on a pair of knees is 1668. So these are got some really nice armor. The health on it is not that great. The health on it is actually decent. 15,177. The max health you can get on a pair of knees, I believe, is 16,674. So you're about 1,000 and a bit off, about 1,500 or so off. Then the other thing for the PvPers is you have shock resistance and bleed resistance. We all know about bleed for Predator's Mark, although not many people are running it, but when they do come out with the 5 and 6 piece bonuses, you can expect to see that come back. And then you have shock resistance for people who are running shock turrets and all kinds of stuff like that. So if you do need some knees for PvP, then this could work out for you. If you have something better, then that's great. Now you might be eyeballing these 1000 armor gloves, but they are cunning. The SMG damage is only 887, and then it has pistol damage, and it comes with stam. So these are not good. I would definitely say pass on those. And last week someone asked me about where the gear set vendor is in DZ8, and it's right here. If you didn't know about that, there are 2 vendors at this spot. And this vendor has an okay pair of Nomad gloves if you are running shotgun. They come with 993 armor, 5% health on kill, 1208 shotgun damage. I wish that was higher. The shotgun damage for gloves gets up to 1334, so it's not the best, but it does come with crit hit damage, and that's at 16. The max you can get is 17 for crit hit damage on some gloves. So you've got kind of some thinking to do if you do decide to pick up some Nomad gloves. The firearms is only at 1151, so you'll definitely be wanting to do something about that. Alright, last stop over in DZ9. There isn't a lot going on. This has pretty much been a really crappy week, to be honest. So the only thing I can look at and tell you is worth even thinking about would be the Reclaimer bag. The armor on it is 1275, which isn't too bad. The skill power on it is pretty good at 13,276. It also comes with 14% burn resistance. I know a lot of people like that if they're not using ammo. The electronics is a bit low at 1177. The only other thing, even though these Reclaimer knees have pretty nice crit damage and a little bit of damage to elites, I still really can't recommend them because the other minor attributes pretty much suck. The increased kill XP could work out if you're farming, but Reclaimer is usually a support set, so I don't really see that class really going for a lot of kills, but you play the game the way you want. But if you need these knee pads, then maybe you can pick them up, but I probably wouldn't recommend them. The Deadeye holster is pretty much garbage. The Sentry's gloves, although the armor is okay and the SMG damage is nice, the pistol damage screws it up, the firearm screws it up, and then it just comes with enemy armor damage. Now going down, if you are in dire need for a loud vent break, you can come down to the other vendor, and there is one being sold. It's not the best of the best, but it does come with 18% crit hit damage, 5.5 headshot damage, and 3% crit chance, but it also comes with 45% increased threat. Now, had the critical hit damage been 19 and the headshot been 6, this would have pretty much been a god roll for the loud vent break, but it's just a little bit shy. So if you don't have anything better than this, then you may want to come and pick one of these up. And alright guys, that is it for this week's good or garbage. I hope you found something useful for you or for your build. I know there wasn't a whole lot of stuff worth picking up this week, and I guess Massive should be apologizing for that, not me. But a special shout outs to Loquito45 Garcia. If you haven't seen the video that I put up, well, one of the videos that I put up before this one, he basically gave me a hint to let me know that you could still find maybe your second or third mask, or maybe even your first at the vendor upstairs. I made a video prior about where you could find that, and that you had to use a different tab. But anyway, if you haven't gotten your second mask or your third mask, or maybe even your first mask, you may want to check that video out and go see where you need to go, and you might have a nice little surprise waiting for you, because I did. And I want to say a very big thank you and shout out to Loquito45, one of the subscribers to the channel, for that heads up. And I really do appreciate you guys giving me feedback, comments, and trying to help me out along the way, and being a really positive community. I don't often talk about stuff like this on videos, but I do want to say that you guys being very positive and not having a really toxic community on this channel make it worthwhile to keep doing this stuff, even though the demonetization debacle is going on, and YouTube is not really sharing these videos because they're not monetized. If you don't know anything about that, we can get into that in another video, but I'm pretty sure most YouTubers have already talked about it, and most of you guys know about it. So without wasting any more time, thank you guys again for all the support, and I'm gonna take a little break, get something to eat, and then I might stream a little bit later. This is video number 3 for me today, so if this is the first video you've seen today, you got a couple videos to check out. Hope you enjoy them. Leave a comment. Don't forget to like. If you did find this useful, give it a share. Maybe let your friends know what's up, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good weekend, and yeah, I'm gone. Take it easy. Peace.